You've seen the videos about overheating PlayStation 5s that are standing up like this, but we have something that is much, much, much worse than standing your PlayStation up. And everybody that owns a PlayStation 5 is suffering from this problem, and you might not even know it. Hello and welcome back to Gears and Tech. You've already saw our video talking about how you can stand your PlayStation 5 up, and the whole rumor's been debunked. You're not gonna worry about overheating your PlayStation 5. However, this other problem is something that is huge, and that is that your PlayStation 5, you might have had it for a little while now and it's getting dirty. Now the question that I've been hearing from people is, how often do you need to clean out your PlayStation 5? So we're gonna open up my PlayStation 5, we're gonna have a look at how clean it is, and I'll tell you about the living conditions of the PlayStation 5 so you can get a good idea of if yours needs to be cleaned more frequently than me or less frequently than me. Now we're gonna lie this down because I don't want it to overheat by accident just standing there, because maybe I was wrong and it actually is bad to stand it up, I don't know. Let's talk about this PlayStation 5 first of all. This is a launch model PS5. I got it on launch day. You saw me unbox this thing, and that is what really kicked off this channel to where you guys started actually watching the content. And thank you very much for being here. But this has been used for the last 2 years. I game for not as often as some of you guys do, but I game on average for probably 20 hours a week or so. Usually a few hours every night, and then on the weekend I do, you know, a bit longer gaming session. I keep this in an open back storage shelf, so it has tons of airflow, but I also have 2 giant dogs and they love to lie down close to there and their fur gets everywhere. So I expect when I open this up, I might find some dog fur, I might find some dust, I might find some other things. We're gonna just see what's in there and we're gonna talk about how we're gonna clean this thing out. Now, one question that you might have is, how do I know if it's time to clean out my PlayStation 5? So we covered this a little bit in my Standing Up Your PlayStation 5 video, and that is the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox and even the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 2, maybe the PlayStation 1, I'm not sure, but they all actually have temperature probes on their dies, on their chips, on their processors, on their motherboards, and they know how hot they are. So especially with the PlayStation 5, Sony was not taking any chances with the cooling. They have a massive fan, which we're gonna see shortly. They have very aggressive heating, and the console is actually quite quiet. Even when the fan is in full spin up, you really can't hear it. It's not like the PlayStation 4 Pro, where you've got those jet engine sounds just buzzing away trying to cool off the system. So Sony took cooling seriously. They also built in the ability for them to know how hot the system is. And just like that computer behind me, which you've seen is running the Intel 13700K, which is crazy hot, the processor in here has the ability to throttle the performance of the CPU down if it gets hot. So even if your system was getting hot, it will protect itself. So we're not in danger of wrecking anything, but that will give you one of the indicators that something's not right with your system. So if you're starting to experience slowdowns, you're starting to experience points where the game starts to lag and you can see a sudden drop in frames per second, especially after you've been gaming for at least 30 minutes to an hour, you might be suffering from heat-related performance issues. The best way to fix heat-related performance issues would be 2 different things. Number 1, make sure it's in a well-ventilated area. If this system was sitting here just like this, it's got plenty of airflow all around it. A lot of us are tempted to put this inside a cabinet on its side, where you put it in the cabinet and you close the doors, and this becomes a giant tomb for heat, where it just recycles that heat. It's gonna get hot, it's gonna struggle. So if you can knock the back out on that entertainment unit to allow the air to flow out the back, it would be perfect. Or use something like what I've got, where I've got airflow in the front and out the back. That's the most ideal whenever possible. But the second thing is, we want to make sure that we're not clogging and restricting the airflow just from the system being plugged on its own. So let's have a quick look at how the airflow works through the system, I guess. So first of all, we'll see up in here, we've got all these fins here, and we've got those on the top and on the bottom. We've also got in the back a full set of fins back here. These are actual fins. It's not a decoration. If I look at an angle, I can see the entire heat pipe, the entire width of this whole system over here. On the sides here, we've also got some heat vents here. There's not a lot that comes out of here, but heat can come out of there. So the next thing we need to do is pop open the cover and have a look at this. And with it facing away from you, the disk drive away, we're gonna just lift this corner up right here, like this, and then we can push, and I usually have to stand to do this, push over like that, and then that will slide it over. You saw it slide over, and then the cover can come off just like that. Now, I have not cleaned this for about 6 months. So this is 6 months of just running in that open unit near dog hair. So you can see right here, look at that. It looks like I bought this from DK Oldies. I mean, this is actually pretty clean by DK Oldies standards. So we're gonna wipe this off, we'll clean that up. Now, what I wanted to see though, is a couple things here. Number one, you're going to see that I have my Corsair MP600 Core Gen 4 PCIe 1 terabyte NVMe drive. And you'll also notice something else. The cover is missing from here. And a lot of people said, if you leave the cover off, this is gonna get filthy, it's gonna get gross, and you're gonna have a problem. So I have not cleaned that drive off. You can see right there, look at that. It is not dirty at all. It's maybe a little dusty, but nothing to worry about at all. You'll also notice that my fan here has dog fur that's caught up in there, but it looks like overall the fan is still fine. You'll also notice through here, I've got, the fins are dirty and there's a little bit of dust collection there. Again, nothing too alarming here. We are going to take this apart and clean it just for fun so you can see what cleaning it looks like. Let's flip this over and we'll figure out how to pop the other panel off. So this one pops there and then goes down like that. So I just popped this one where the PS logo is, and I just lifted that tab up and then slid it over. Now again, this is a little bit dirty. You can see the fan marks right there. Again, we will clean that off. Now, if we look on this side, you can see that fan is filthy. Again, that's okay. We're gonna give it a quick cleaning. But you can also see some dust buildup right here, which this isn't a big, it's not a major concerning amount of dust buildup. You can see all of these fins here provide all of the airflow that you ever could need for this system. So now what we're gonna do is pull the fan out and just give it a quick blowdown. I'm gonna try and do this with tools that you have around your house. So I've got a shop, I've got compressed air. I could just take it there and blow this all out, but you probably don't have compressed air. You might have air in a can, which if you do, that's great. But if you don't even have that, we'll try and just wipe this down and see if we can just clean it that way. Now, if you want to take the fan out, you will need a special screwdriver. I use this, which is my retro gaming screwdriver. I will put a link in the description where you can get this. This includes the screwdrivers that you will need to take apart your Nintendo game systems with the tri-wing, as well as the security bit that you will need to take the fan out of your PlayStation 5. You do need a special screwdriver, or you need some way to chisel out the small nub that's in the middle of here, but it's just as easy to get the right screwdriver than it is to try and make the wrong screwdriver fit in that hole. So we're just gonna pull these screws out. So you can see this one is like a longer screw, and then these guys are not as long. And the way you know which is the long screws have, okay, well, let's pop this out of the way just to help us out. That just lifts right out. So the long screws have a little triangle here that I can go like this. So you can see little triangle, triangle, and a triangle up there to signal that that's the long screw. There's only one short screw. That allows us to now take the dust cover off, and immediately you see dust coming. Now this will just wipe down, or you can blow it off. It is sharp, so you don't want to manhandle it too much because it will hurt you. Then you need some way to lift this little plastic cover off just so that we can take the fan wiring off. So I'm gonna stick that under there and pull that up. I'm gonna do it without poking my eyeball. You don't need to go super far, just far enough that you can unplug that fan. Give it a nice tug and a wiggle, and this fan will lift right out. That gets the fan out of there, and you can see how dusty that fan is on both sides. Now, I would just blow this out. If you have a vacuum cleaner, you can vacuum it out, or if you don't have any of those, you can use wipes and wipe it out. We also want to have a look inside here. So what I do see inside here, I've never ever blown this system out, but if you look in those fins right there, you can see there's a lot of dust collecting in those fins. So I'm going to make the executive decision to take this to the garage and blow it out. I know I said that I wouldn't, but I'm going to. This is bad enough. So if you get this far and you do not have a can of compressed air, you can wipe it down the best you can, but I strongly encourage you to get some compressed air and blow it out the best you can. I'm gonna go blow it out real quick and then come back. So now we've blown it all out. Our fan, which was filthy, is now not as filthy. So it's much, much cleaner. It blows out very, very easily. Now you also saw inside the console, I don't know how well you guys saw, but if I go like this, you can see right through the fins, the cooling fins, the area that was up here was all filthy, full of dust. And even down inside here, up inside here, was a lot of dust. When I blew it out, quite a bit of dust came out. I also ran the air up through all of these fins, and I ran the air through these fins. A fair amount of dust came out, but keep in mind, I have never, ever, ever blown this system out ever. So this is after 2 years. I was not experiencing any performance loss. I was not experiencing any dropped frames or any perceivable problems of any sort. So if your system is in similar conditions to mine, you're probably okay, but it might be time to go get a can of that compressed air and blow it through. The other good thing is, if you're getting a can of that compressed air, you actually would not need to pull the fan out, because even with it in here, like that, you could easily get the compressed air up in there and blow that all out. And even on the other side, you'd be able to get into there and blow that out as well. Now, I had the screwdriver already, so why not take it apart? Now that that's all clean, I'm going to put that back together actually. Now, some of you are probably wondering, if you took the fan out, which hole does the weird screw go in? And I'll take this back out so I can show it to you. So there's the one that is different than the other two, but it's still long. So there's a weird one that's kind of got thick, coarse screws, and one that's got skinny screws, not skinny, coarse screws. So the thick, coarse screwed one goes over here. I'll just show you here. It goes in this hole right up here. So that's where that's gonna go. The way you can tell is simply the fact that it's going into plastic, and the plastic screws are usually gonna have a coarser thread to them. The skinny guy here, with what would be called a machine type screw, is gonna go into metal. So that's how I know that it's gonna go here, because there's gonna be a metal backplate here with a threaded hole that it's gonna thread into. So that's why it's gonna bite onto. It would never bite onto plastic. Now I can lift this back up and plug the fan back in. And the fan will only plug in one way. And then we can push all those wires down like that, and then cover that hole back up like that. Now this guy didn't get blown off because I took it off. So I'm gonna just blow it with my mouth like that. If you left it on because you didn't need to take the fan off, then you could easily just have that blown off too. Go ahead and do there. There we go, like that. So now it's time to wipe the plates off. For that, I've got a special tool known as Lysol wipes. Again, I'm using what I got. If you don't got Lysol wipes, you could use water. You could actually, there's no electronic components on those, so you could easily just stick these in the dishwasher if you want and clean them that way. Stick them in a sink of soapy water, clean them that way. This is gonna leave a bit of a residue, so I'm gonna wipe it down after with paper towel to dry it off, but we wanna just make sure that we're not sucking any dust into our brand new clean system, right? Look at how dirty that is though. That's impressively dirty. Now this is a little bit dirtier than I like my systems to get. Usually I give them a good blowout every 6 months or so. Like I said, this one was showing no signs of needing to be cleaned, and I thought you guys might want to see how to clean a PlayStation 5. So now I can get the paper towel and just dry this guy off, which will help pick up any of the extra dust. And somewhere, somebody is freaking out that I'm using the wrong products and that I'm doing this all wrong, but I would challenge you to say a clean console is better than a dirty console, and that looks a heck of a lot cleaner than it did a minute ago. And then there's that one too. Now I'm going to put these covers back on, and then we'll give the outside a quick wipe down as well. There's one, flip it over. Sorry, I'm just gonna take this tape gunk off of here. I don't know who put that on. It's not coming. There we go. There's two. Now we can wipe the outside real quick. And just like that, we've got our cleaned, fresh PlayStation 5 ready for another 2 years of gaming. Again, this is basic maintenance for a gaming console, especially the newer generation consoles that have lots of fans and require lots of cooling. If you're coming from an older generation where you've never ever cleaned it out before, this is a very high-end computer now, and it does require airflow and it wants to be cool. This is the best way to save it. If you were getting caught up in all of the hype about standing your PlayStation up versus lying it down, and you have started lying it down just as preventative maintenance and just as a precaution, this thing that I just showed you, cleaning your system, is far more dangerous than having your system standing up or lying down. So I hope you heed my advice, clean it somewhat frequently. Every 6 months seems about right. 2 years blowing it out, it's maybe a bit long. If you've got compressed air, use it more frequently than that. If you don't have compressed air, don't forget, I'll put a link in the description to cans of air, which you can get. They'll last a long time if all you're doing is blowing out your PlayStation 5. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video, and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.